question. It's actually many questions in one. Sometimes people just fire off so many questions that it can be hard to answer them in one answer. But anyway, so here goes. I'm going to take a little bit at a time. Hello, sir. How come some people are gay? Is it natural? What about... Okay, let's stop there because now it already goes into something else. Is it natural? Define natural for me. I mean, if you look at natural as purely biological, then you could say that being gay is not natural in the sense that two gay people can produce offspring. And if you see it in the nature, in the biological world, in nature, it's obviously the different sexes are to produce offspring. Why it is that way? That's a much bigger question that I don't really want to go into here. But so from that perspective, you can say it isn't natural. But I have given another answer about homosexuality, and I think it's just that when you know about reincarnation, you can see that there are various reasons why people in past lives can have developed an attraction for a particular sex, and now they come into an embodiment in the same body as that sex. So I'm not going to go into that too much here, but it's simply a function of past lives. So then the person goes on. What about transgender people? Is it wrong to change your sex if you feel you're supposed to be the opposite or the one assigned at birth? Well, again, is it wrong? It must be an individual decision, but I would say that once you have an operation and change your gender, it's quite difficult to reverse it. And so I would very strongly advise that people wait till they are mature enough to know whether this is a decision they want to live with for the rest of their lives, because it isn't very easy to undo it. And I do think it's not a good idea that teenagers do this, or that parents encourage them to do this. I think it's better to wait a little bit. But of course, the trouble here is that most people who are in this situation, they don't know about the spiritual side of life, they don't know about reincarnation, so therefore they probably can't understand what I'm saying and can't accept what I'm saying. But it is a very complex issue, and you can really only understand it if you incorporate reincarnation. So then the person goes on, furthermore, do we change gender during the reincarnation cycle? Yes, we do. Not necessarily every lifetime. In many cases, we are in a particular gender for several lifetimes. And that's why, as I said, you can have, if you've been in a male body and had a sexual attraction to women for several lifetimes, and now for the first time you come into a female body, you can still have a sexual attraction to women, even though you're in a female body, and of course vice versa. Can we choose when we feel like it to change gender? No, it depends on what karma you have and what psychology you have. It's a very complicated issue. I have explained in many videos that before we come into embodiment, we meet with our spiritual teachers and create a life plan for our next lifetime. And it's based on looking at our psychology going back over many lifetimes. So it's very complex, very complicated psychology that people have. And that is what is used to determine what gender the person should have in his next lifetime and why it's important to have that. And then it goes on, however, I heard from somewhere that it's not possible to change gender. When you start your reincarnation, you'll always be a guy. Once you come down as a guy, the same for women. That's just not what I have heard from the Ascended Masters and from many other sources. I think the vast majority of spiritual teachings would disagree with that. That you are not locked into a particular gender for all of the lifetimes. If you take my video, How the World Was Created, I'm explaining in there in great depth that the whole purpose of the world of form is our growth in consciousness. And on a planet like Earth, where there are two sexes, bodies have two sexes, we get the best possible growth by being in both male and female bodies, because we experience the situation from different sides. You can just look at it very simply and say, you embody on Earth to have the kind of experiences you can have on Earth. And one of them is you can be in a male body, you can be in a female body, you can be a sexual being. But in order to ascend from Earth, you have to transcend all of these outer identifications with the body, with your sexuality. And in order to do this, you have to become non-attached to the sexuality and the gender of your body. And the best way to do this is to switch back and forth, so that you don't become psychologically attached to always seeing yourself as a man or a woman. The other thing is, as I said, part of the purpose is to experience what you can experience on Earth. So if you were only experiencing what it's like to be in a male body, you wouldn't have the full experience. There's also the karma, involved, because you just look back at history and how many misogynistic societies, male-dominated societies there have been. So if a person was always a man, it could mistreat women lifetime after lifetime and never really see anything wrong with it. But if a man mistreats women for several lifetimes and then embodies in the same kind of culture as a woman, now it experiences what it's like to be on the receiving end of this male abuse of women. And that might make the live stream think again and grow. So often karma, by you're doing something to people in one lifetime, in the next lifetime you have the same thing done to you, and this is how you realize, oh, maybe it's not such a good idea to do unto others what I don't want them to do to me. So this is how the school of hard knocks or hard karma works itself out, by us experiencing all different sides, all different experiences you can have on Earth, being both on the giving end and on the receiving end of what can be done.